Hello everyone, this is Gene and I'm back with another video. This is also the second time I'm recording this video. For some reason it suddenly stopped when I was right in the middle of a good rant. But anyway, hope everybody's well. As always, it's a little after 8 here, 8 a.m. here in the city. RJ snoozing on the bed. So, let me get into it. So, DC came out with this comic, or they're coming out, I should say, with this comic, right, about Wonder Women of history, right? And as you can imagine, I am not too happy about this. Now you might wonder, well, Gene, why are you not happy about it? Well, for one thing, there's an image in the book which shows a woman who's supposed to be a real life person, right? And there's a man who is restrained by the lasso of truth. And, while he is, again, restrained and he's not a threat to anybody because he's literally tied up, this woman, whoever she's supposed to be because art is trash, hits him in the face. So we're supposed to believe that the heroic thing for a woman to do is to commit a crime, right? The crime of battery, I would say, at the very least, or at least assault, right? Maybe assault in the second degree, I don't know. But it's definitely a crime to hit someone in the face when they're restrained and no threat to you. You can't claim self-defense. So the heroic thing for a person to do is to abuse someone, is to hit someone who cannot defend themselves and fight back. This is viewed as the positive thing to do in a Wonder Woman comic, right? In a superhero comic, right? Because apparently now a woman is only strong if she can abuse a man. Ask Amber Heard how that turned out for her. Ask Johnny Depp what he went through, right? And there are no that many other men who have been abused by the women in their lives in some fashion. And sadly, we're not going to hear those stories because those men and women are not, A-list celebrities. But yeah, let's encourage, a woman attacking a restrained man who cannot hurt her, who is no threat to her. Good job, DC. Good job encouraging abuse and villainy. Awesome. But anyway, so they're going to be doing a spotlight on 17 real-world heroes in different fields, right? The fields of science, the field of social justice, politics, sports. So here's the list, right? Apparently it's going to be Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Liz Warren, aka the whitest white person in America, right? But she keeps claiming she's Indian, right? But then you have Rashida Tlaib, you have Terea Frazier, you have Beyonce, Edith Windsor, Marsha P. Johnson, Emma Gonzalez, Judith Heumann, Ellen Ochoa, Shi Zheng Li, Serena Williams, Tig Notaro, Keiko Ajena, Dominique Dawes, and Janelle Monáe. Now, I wouldn't necessarily go with this list of people personally, but what irks me about this is that, first of all, it's supposed to be Wonder Woman of history, yet they've chosen fairly modern, current people. Not to say that you can't, but given that it's history, right? In history, it's the study of times past. One would think that they might want to introduce some people, who are not Americans, right? I mean, after all, Wonder Woman is from an island in Greece, right? She is the daughter of a Greek god, so you might want to at least, include a Greek person, one Greek woman at least, for representation's sake. But also, from different time periods, right? For example, they decided to include Ocasio-Cortez, okay? And Liz Warren in this case. Well, let's focus on Cortez first. If you're going to include Cortez, why not include, for example, Shirley Chisholm, right? First black woman in Congress. She was a Democrat, so you're not promoting the opposite party. She was also the first black woman to run for the Democratic nomination for the presidential election. She literally ran so that Obama and Kamala Harris and others, including Hillary Clinton even, could run. right? She walked, I should say. Shirley Chisholm walked so that others decades after her could run, right? So why isn't she on this list, right? You have Liz Warren, who wants to claim she's Native American when she clearly is not. So why don't we have Native American women such as, say, Sacagawea, right? The woman who helped Lewis and Clark on their famous expedition. Or how about a female Native American politician, right? Or a Native woman in sports. I think there was a Native WNBA player, if I remember correctly. It's been a while, right? But then they have Beyonce and they have Janelle Monet. Okay, if you want to have them, then why don't you have figures such as Billie Holiday, such as Nina Simone, such as Hattie McDaniel, such as Nichelle Nichols? You know, women who had to live in an anti-black America and who still found a measure of fame and success, right? Why not include them? Because if you don't have those women, you don't have Beyonce, you don't have Janelle Monet. They want to include black female athletes such as Serena Williams and Dominique Dawes. And okay, fine. I'm of the opinion that if you're going to include Dominique Dawes, you need to include Carrie Shrug, because it was Carrie's one-legged vault that actually won the U.S. the gold in the '96 Olympics. I personally would say, hey, include the entire gymnastics team from the '96 Olympic Games, right? They were referred to back then as the Magnificent Seven, right? And they were a very for today interracial group, where you had Dominique Dawes, you had Carrie Strug, who's white, you had Dominique Moceanu, who I think is Asian or Asian, some sort of Asian descent, right? A lot of different ethnicities on that team. And without the Magnificent Seven in '96, you don't have the Fab Five, in the 2000s, right? So why not include them? Why not reach into other sports, right? Why not have the female Olympic basketball team from the '96 Olympics? Why not have athletes such as Cheryl Miller, who did briefly play in a men's basketball league before a knee injury ended her career? Without Cheryl Miller, you don't have NBA Hall of Famer Reggie Miller, because she's his sister and she's the one who actually kind of taught him how to play basketball when they were kids, right? So why not that? Why not the women's soccer team? Because the women's soccer team is like the only friggin' I'm sorry guys, but the U.S. men's soccer team never wins. Sorry, they don't. The women's soccer team may not make as much money, but they actually get the victories. So why not include them? Why not include athletes like Cheryl Swoops, like Jesus Christ, Lisa Leslie, right? Why not include them? Why not broaden your horizons a bit? Why not include Olympic champions such as Michelle Kwan and Christy Yamaguchi? That would certainly help with diversity and representation, highlighting Asian Olympic champions, right? Why not include them? Why not include that sport, right? And then, of course, I'm wondering why they didn't include women such as Betty Shabazz and Loretta Scott King and Myrtle 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 Evers, right? Who, of course, are the wives and the widows of Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Medgar Evers, right? Leaders of the civil rights movement who all had their lives ended by an assassin's bullet, or bullets in certain cases. So, especially in this age of social unrest due to perceived racial injustices against black people, in particular black men, why not highlight these women, who in many cases lost their husbands because of racial injustice and prejudice toward black men, right? Why aren't they on this list? Why aren't women such as, and again, I'm just gonna just rattle some names off the top of my head from like just different parts of the world, right? Why aren't women like Nefertiti? Why aren't women like the Queen of Sheba? Why aren't women like Cleopatra on this list? Why aren't women like um, in Indira, I think her name was Indira Gandhi, who was the first female prime minister of India? Why isn't she on this list? Why isn't Margaret Thatcher on this list? Why isn't Golda Meir on this list? Why isn't Mother Teresa on this list? She did good in the world. You may not agree with her religion, but she spent her life helping people, right? So why isn't she here, right? Why aren't women like Eva Peron or Tomoe Gozen or what was it, Lady Murasaki? I think it is the woman who wrote the Tale of Genji, right? One of the oldest novels in existence anywhere, right? Why don't we hear about them? Why don't we hear about the female spies during World War II? Right? Why don't we hear about women like, for example, I've said this in other videos, you know, the Soviet female sniper known as Lady Death, who took out over 300 enemy soldiers, right? Why don't we hear about them, right? And there are many, 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 many more I could mention and I could list if you gave me enough time. I could easily rattle off more than 17 that, at least in my personal opinion, for whatever it's worth, um, did more to contribute to women in the world and women in various fields than the majority of these people have, right? For example, why don't we have Rosa Parks? Why isn't Harriet Tubman on this? As much as I don't like her personally, why isn't Oprah on this? She's a billionaire, a black female billionaire. Whatever my opinions of her, which are generally very critical, but you don't become a billionaire overnight or with good luck. And she did grow up in America that was incredibly hostile toward African Americans at that time. Why don't we see, for example, in this list, women like Madam C.J. Walker, the first female millionaire? And I think she was African American, if I remember correctly. So it's not only the first female millionaire, or one of the first, right, to earn money in her own right and not, inherit it through her family or her husband or whatever, right? What about, Madame Marie Curie, for example? Why not women such as Amelia Earhart, right? Many, 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 many other women that I think would have been better choices um, for this list. Or maybe just expand the list and you add these ladies too. And given that, this is comic books and DC's a comic company, why not women who were notable in comics, such as Flo Steinberg, such as Louise Simonson, such as Anne Nocenti, and many, 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 many others, right? Why not them? So many more options to choose from, both from history and, for all the women that we'll hear about or that we'll study in class, right? There are many more women that we'll never know. So why not highlight the story of some women who maybe are not well known, who are not vaunted or celebrated historical figures, right? Why aren't there women, for example, on this list such as Indira Gandhi, right? Or Benazir, I think her name was, Benazir Bhutto, who was the first female prime minister of Pakistan, right? Or what about Malala, right? She was shot in the head. She was shot in the head for just wanting to learn how to read and wanting to teach other girls to read, right? Why don't Why didn't DC include at least some of these women across history, across time? Women from different countries, maybe you don't know about, right? The female samurai, Tomoe Gozen, for example. I think I mentioned her earlier. I'm mentioning her again because I like her. Right? And many others. I think this list of people that I've rattled off the top of my wrinkly old brain is probably more diverse than anything DC has here. They could have it could have been so much better. I think it's a thing for me. It could have been so much better. And you still could have highlighted people from different parts of the world and different fields, right? Science, Madame Curie, right? uh, Fighting for actual social justice, politics, sports, entertainment. You could have still stuck with all that. But it would have been nice if they actually included people who, actually paved a way for women. Because, again, I'm not going to... Look, Beyonce's talented, Dominique Dawes is talented, Janelle Monet is talented, but tell me what I guess you could say glass ceiling that they broke, right? Again, Shirley Chisholm was the first black woman in Congress, right? Her being in Congress allowed for other women and other black women to be in Congress and black men. Again, you don't have Obama without Shirley Chisholm paving that way for others, right? Both like her and not like her, right? So again, Beyonce and Janelle and others, certainly have talent, are successful. Serena is certainly an incredibly talented and successful athlete. And again, no shade on all that. But just tell me where they actually paved a way for women, in particular black women, right? Just let me know, right? What what trail did they blaze, right? What did they do that black women had not done previously that will now allow generations after them to, you know, um, be able to do things? That's what I want to know. That is what I want to know. Because with a few exceptions, right? For example, Ginsburg and whatnot, with a few exceptions, right? But for the most part, I look at this list and I don't see trailblazers. I see women who have been successful. I see women who, again, have courted controversy, Warren and Cortez, for example. I see women who have, dominated their sport and are very marketable and have popular images and all that. And that's all well and fine and good. But that doesn't make you a hero. Being successful and well liked doesn't make you a hero. A hero, at least in my estimation, for whatever it's worth, is someone who sacrifices, is someone who gives of themselves for others, right? They may not see the justice that they seek or the world that they seek in their lifetime, but it's their sacrifice, right, that leads to what they were fighting for all along. Again, right, the widows of Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Medgar Evers and of course many other women who either lost their own lives or their sons, their husbands, or others were murdered during the civil rights movement. And of course, again, this is just me rattling off the names of people I'm aware of, right? There are many more people that I don't know about that the majority of us don't know about because they're not talked about. And then of course, there's people from other countries, right, who are um, legendary or who who are remembered in the histories of different nations of the world or religions or whatnot, right? So I wish that this list of 17 women had actually included women who, I don't know, had just done more in most cases, who were truly trailblazers, who truly sacrificed, right? And who truly were heroes, who truly paved the way for women. Because yes, the sacrifices and contributions of women should be remembered. I firmly agree with that, which is why I'm listing off all the women that I think should have been added or should have been on this list or in addition to this list. Because in my opinion, if I have to read about the story, about the life and times of some entertainer, I'd much rather read about the story of Billie Holiday, right? Someone who had to undergo real adversity and real hostility in America than Beyonce, who hasn't had to deal with even a tenth of what Billie Holiday went through. For the majority of these people on this list, I don't think they could have ever survived, let alone thrived, and had their careers if they had been active in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, where yeah, being black was pretty damn hard because the country hated you. With all due respect to Beyonce and Dominique Dawes and Janelle and many others, they don't know that struggle. They don't know that struggle because the women who did know that struggle did their damnedest to make sure things changed so that their daughters and the daughters after them and the daughters after them didn't know that pain. And I wish those women had been highlighted instead of the majority of this list. But anyway, that's just me. Those are just my thoughts for whatever they're worth. So please let me know what you think, what other women you might have added if you had a chance to write this list, especially if you are, say, I know I have an international audience, so any female heroes or women of note from your countries, because I don't know everything, I can't know everything, right? So if you have any suggestions on that front, leave them down in the comments, and please let me know what you think. As always, I hope everybody's well or getting well. I know times are tough, but humans are resilient. Stupid at times, but resilient. So anyway, I will see you all around. Have a good day or night, wherever you are. Be happy, be healthy, be safe. See you around. Bye.